Developer Saber Interactive and publisher Focus Entertainment have canceled their planned public beta test for Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2, claiming this gives them time to focus on optimization and polishing. However, I think this is a massive, massive red flag and raises a huge question as to why do they not want the public to play this game before release. Before we get to this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. Wrote this up over at thatparkplace.com this morning. And the beta test was originally announced back in August 2023 when Focus Entertainment revealed some gameplay, which I thought was in an extremely rough shape. I obviously was in the minority on that. I thought that the Tyranids were literally just jumping at a hitbox that was surrounding the Space Marine and doing absolutely nothing to him. You would see the Tyranid jump, hit the invisible wall around the Space Marine, and then just kind of fall down. And I know some people were saying like, oh, that's because the Space Marine was performing an execution. Well, that might have been the case in some of those instances, but elsewhere throughout that gameplay, you saw that that was not the case, where he was just kind of, the Space Marine was just kind of firing away, and the Tyranid was still kind of jumping at the person before any kind of execution or I guess like graphic kill was kind of engaged. So I thought it was extremely rough and was not too happy about it. But again, I was obviously in the minority on that. But obviously that was back in August. They've had almost a year, because we're almost in July now. That was almost 11 months ago. But we have a recent update. And remember, this game was supposed to come out in winter 2023. They actually delayed it almost an entire year. It's coming out now in September, on September 9th. But this is their most recent update. They posted this on their Steam forums and said that they would no longer be having this beta test. It says here, Space Marine 2 is almost ready. We are now entirely focused on optimization, polish, and fixing remaining issues ahead of launch on September 9th. This means we will not run a public online beta, as it would take the development teams away from preparing for the full launch, and our priority is to ensure the best possible experience at release. So I don't know if I really buy that. I feel like if the game is ready, I don't know why you wouldn't be able to easily share a beta and do that. I think there is massive amounts of success that can come from beta, especially if your game is really, really good. I know in my case, I played that Unicorn Overlord beta so much, and I was definitely going to buy that game because the gameplay, the storytelling, everything about that game was absolutely excellent. And I couldn't wait to get my hands on it. I was like, I was salivating for a month. I was like, I need more. I need more. And obviously when it came out, did indeed purchase it and played the heck out of that game. So this cancellation is concerning for me, because I definitely think it's like, why would you not do this to kind of hype up the game, really sell it, get even more people on board? To me, this is a move of like, we don't want people to see what this game actually looks like, and it is deeply concerning. Again, they already delayed this game over a year. So they did announce this, that if you did sign up for the beta by June 28th, you would get this limited time bolt pistol skin. They said, we know this is disappointing news for some of you. As a thank you to those interested in participating, players who registered via the online sign up before June 28, 2024, midnight Paris time, will receive the limited bolt pistol skin. Below, you can see it right there, the Porphyr Shield bolt pistol. And then they conclude the update saying, we appreciate your understanding and continued support as we work towards delivering the exceptional game you deserve. And as I said, this cancellation of the beta test comes in the wake of the game being delayed to its current September 2024 release date back in November 2023. So they showed that gameplay and then like literally delayed the game a couple months later. They posted this in a press release. The game is now poised to ship in the second half of 2024 to provide the time needed to properly polish the game and to ensure the best possible experience. Focus Entertainment is committed to releasing a game that is of the highest quality and that exceeds the expectations of the countless fans of the franchise. So those are a lot of like good words, but what we're seeing does not make me confident in this is what they're actually going to deliver. But I'm not going to deny that there's a lot of hype for this game, because there is. There is a lot of hype for this game. It is the currently ninth. It sits in the ninth place on SteamDB's most wishlisted upcoming Steam games, and it has already over 100,000 followers on Steam. You can see it's just behind Black Myth Wukong, Hollow Knight Silksong, Frostpunk 2, Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl, The First Ascendant, Once Human, Arc 2, and Monster Hunter Wild. So it's right there in that ninth position on SteamDB's most wish-listed upcoming Steam games. In fact, I think they said back in November that the game had over 1 million wish lists already for it. So there is definitely a lot of hype for this game, but the cancellation of the beta is a huge red flag for me. It's not the only red flag either, because we had this kind of contradictory statement coming out from the developers. They said that there would be no microtransactions, but then in the same breath, they claimed that there was a season pass and there were paid cosmetic options, which those are microtransactions. It's just not maybe performance enhancing or any kind of like gameplay mechanics, etc. But you're still cosmetics are still microtransactions. I mean, League of Legends, it is primarily cosmetics. I don't know if they've added anything, but when I played, it was all cosmetics, and that's still a microtransaction, right? A season pass is a microtransaction. But this is what they said in a blog post back in May. We want Space Marine 2 to be an experience tailor-crafted for the players. Hence, we're happy to confirm that there aren't any microtransactions in Space Marine 2, no in-game cash shop. All gameplay, content, and features will be free to all players. Any paid DLCs will be cosmetic only. So that does indeed sound like there are microtransactions, paid DLCs being cosmetic only. That doesn't really sound like a DLC. It's not like Shadow of the Erdtree, which is like additional actual content and you're paying for it. That's what one would usually assume is an actual DLC, is when you're getting like significant additional content and you pay a fee for it. This does sound like they're just going to be purchasing like things like this bolt gun. And there will be other types of guns and maybe like suits of armor and things like that, power suits and all that stuff that you can purchase within the game. And those do sound, that to me, that's a microtransaction. In fact, we got this here from Focus Entertainment's brand manager, Sylvain Leroux. He told PC Games N that the game will have a season pass, but it will be, quote, purely cosmetic and will be delivered in several phases. Maybe they're talking about new maps or something like that, because they do have a multiplayer option. And so that would maybe what they're talking about with cosmetics, but that's not really what you think of when you're thinking of a cosmetic. It's usually a cosmetic is like your gun, your chainsword, your armor, all the things that like are on your character rather than like a map. That's not really something I would think of as a cosmetic, but maybe that's what they're describing as a cosmetic. But he went on to add this. He says, everything you'll get in the past is purely cosmetic. All of the gameplay additions, whether it's new missions or new enemies, all of that will come for free to all players. So like that doesn't sound like they're talking about maps, right? He's saying new missions, new enemies, those are all going to be coming free, which is gameplay additions, which you would expect. That's actually something you might actually pay for with a DLC. Obviously, thinking of things like Shadow of the Erdtree, where it's an actual like expansion to the game, or all like the Pokemon DLCs that they've been releasing over the thing. This is kind of what they do, right? You have additional planned expansions to the content, to the gameplay, maybe new lands, new Pokemon, new gameplay options, etc. And you usually pay maybe like a $20-$30 fee to get that addition to the game. And a lot of times you can buy it early, and so you get a little bit of a discount on it. But it's really confusing here as to what they're really talking about. I don't think they've really clarified that yet. But back in May, they also said this: the content of the game has been locked for a while now. Again, why are you canceling a public beta test if the content for the game had been locked for a while now, and they were just in the final stages of the game production? Most of our efforts are currently focused on debugging and polishing to pass the final certification steps. We want to deliver the cleanest possible experience at launch, and the team is fully focused on it. So again, I don't think that this is a good thing, canceling your public beta test when you've previously said that the content has been locked and you've just been doing kind of optimization and debugging. One would think that it's got to be at least somewhat polished to be able to show off what you've got and maybe actually get those wish lists confirmed into real sales, and maybe even bring in people who haven't even wishlisted the game yet because you're building hype. People are talking about it, people are streaming it, and you're just really kind of growing momentum for the game's launch in September. The only thing I can really kind of think of is that they don't want people to be doing that, because instead of building hype, it's going to be a lot of negativity because the game really isn't where it needs to be. But those are just kind of my thoughts on this. Let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, but to always speak the truth.